Hey there, guys and gals, hip cats, cool kittens, diesel-powered disciples of cool, friends and foes. Good morning, Multiverse. This is Back of the Cereal Box. This is my brand new video cast, and the concept is really simple. We're going to talk geek pop culture, comics, toys, movies, TV, board games, and we're going to do that over a big bowl of breakfast cereal. And this morning, we've got Reese's Puffs. I've never had these before. My daughter loves them. And so we're going to be trying a bowl of Reese's Puffs. So here's how this is going to work. This is an interactive broadcast. So while I'm live on YouTube, you guys can interact, post comments, and we'll get to those comments. We'll respond to those comments, and we can basically have a conversation back and forth. And who am I? Well, I am the prophet of pop culture, the artist sometimes known as Big Daddy Cool. I've been an entertainer, an author, a podcaster, and a pop culture, geek culture maven since I was a kid. I tell people that Star Wars movies and Avengers comic books made me who I am today. And we are coming to you live from my office in the Houdini room. And we're going to be talking about cool stuff that you might dig while we're eating cereal. Now, do you remember when I was a kid, the back of the cereal box had games and puzzles and stories? They don't do that anymore. So we might have to be breaking out some retro cereal. And we're going to try this. So Reese's Puffs, I've never had it before. We're going to give it a try. Okay. So really it just tastes like Cocoa Puffs. There's supposed to be a peanut butter flavor, but I'm not sure I'm getting it. It's good, though. Listen, I love breakfast cereal. I could eat breakfast cereal for breakfast every day. I don't because it's not good for me, but I could. So let's talk some of the cool stuff I discovered this week or watched this week. So first of all, let's talk movies. I tried to watch Beowulf. This is the Angelina Jolie, and I think I can't remember who the male actor in that was, but it was like his breakout role. I started it on Netflix. I couldn't do more than 3 minutes. I didn't realize it was, I guess, a motion capture movie, mostly CGI, but the CGI was horrible. It was like, I mean, the movie came out, 20 years ago now? Maybe 15? And the motion capture animation that was available back then was just awful. It looked so fake, so plastic. I was so disappointed. I couldn't do it. I'd love to know your thoughts about Beowulf. Did you get through it? Did you like it? And what made me want to watch it was, I'm a big fan of mythology, and in particular the legends of mythology. And Beowulf is, one of the most popular legends of literature. And I never watched the movie when it first came out because, quite honestly, back then, I wasn't into sword and sorcery, even though I love mythology. It just didn't appeal to me. But here lately, I've been watching a lot of the King Arthur stuff. And so I thought, well, let's check out Beowulf and see if this movie is any good. And it was awful. But a nice surprise. I think this was a Netflix original. Was a movie called In the Shadow of the Moon. And I watched it, I want to say Wednesday night, maybe Tuesday night. I watched it after I finished a new page of the League of Impossibilists webcomic. We'll talk more about this in a minute, but I finished a brand new page of the League of Impossibilists webcomic. We'll add captions and dialogue, and that'll go up this week. Back on the saddle with that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I watched this movie, In the Shadow of the Moon, and the previews made it seem like it was maybe a vampire movie. But it turned out to be a really unexpected time travel mind screw movie. Similar concept to Tenet, where you have two people moving through time, one forward in linear time and then one backwards through time. And what basically, I don't want to spoil it, but what you have is this murder mystery, this detective trying to solve all these murders that are being committed by a time traveler from the future. And when he discovers why and who the murderer is, boom, total mind screw. It was awesome. Kind of a low budget movie, but that's okay. It was set in real world sets and didn't have any marquee players in the cast, no big stars, and that's okay. Sometimes that's actually better, that you don't get distracted by the celebrity, right? And you can just focus on the story. And this was one of those movies. Now, over the last week, I've also discovered and finished, I binge watched Queen's Gambit. Are you guys watching this? Have you watched this? If you're not, you really must. Queen's Gambit is riveting. Whoever would have thought that a TV show about a female chess player in the 1960s would be so thrilling? I mean, really, just a riveting show. If you've not seen it, you really must. The actress is Anna Taylor-Joy. Is that her first name? Taylor-Joy is her last name. You've seen her. She was Ileana in New Mutants. The best part of that whole movie was Ileana. She was epic. But Queen's Gambit, what a great show. And Happy Accident Studio says it looks great. And we'll be responding to your comments as we're able to. And I'm not sure what you're referring to. What looks great? Is it the CGI in Beowulf? Is it In the Shadow of the Moon? Great. Or Queen's Gambit? All of them are great. If you're into, geeky sci-fi, In the Shadow of the Moon is definitely for you. Now, we got to talk about The Mandalorian. I started chapter 11 before we went live. There's 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. Think we should finish watching it while I'm on the air? Yeah, so Happy Accident Studio says Queen's Gambit. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I'm watching the last 2 minutes of The Mandalorian. This show, this is the third episode, chapter 11, and this show has Dave Filoni's fingerprints all over it. And, I keep thinking that this show can't get better, but it keeps getting better and better. And in chapter 11, we meet Bo-Katan, who, if you watched Clone Wars and Rebels, you already know her. She was the leader of the Death Watch, wielder of the dark saber, and she was one of Dave Filoni's original creations. And Dave Filoni in Clone Wars and Rebels really fleshed out the true Mandalorian culture and lore. And, there's been this question, since this show started, Baby Yoda, get your hands off the hatchling. Oh my goodness. But Dave Filoni introduced us to the Mandalorian culture, and since this show came on, people have been asking, what's the deal? This Mandalorian and these Mandalorians don't seem to be what we know. And it turns out in this episode they explain that our Mandalorian is part of what they call the Watch. And I don't want to spoil anything about it, but basically there are different sects of Mandalorians. And I mean that by, when I say sect, SECT. And I'll tell you, this episode is got Dave Filoni's fingerprints all over it. This show is a love letter to George Lucas. Oh, look. Surprise, surprise. The Mon Cals did not do a very good job fixing the Razor Crest. Oh, looky there. That's fabulous. Well, Baby Yoda has lunch. Chapter 11, phenomenal. Best episode of the series so far, I believe, because we got to see Bo-Katan's Mandalorians in action. Here's my thing with The Mandalorian. I really hope that this story with the child wraps up this season. They're already talking about season 3. But I really want to see the whole story arc with the child wrap up this season. Oh, this episode was directed by Dallas Bryce Howard, who has a real legacy, heritage with Lucasfilm. Her father, Ron Howard, directed Solo. He directed Willow and some other Lucasfilm franchises. And, of course, Dallas directed several episodes in season 1. So Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan, perfect casting. And I love, the whole arc that they're going on. Spoiler alert, Bo-Katan is going for the Darksaber that Moff Gideon has. So post your comments about The Mandalorian down below. We'll address them. And so we got a sponsor. So we need to share this. We are brought to you by the League of Impossibilists. They are a group of time-traveling paranormal heroes defending the space-time continuum against the threats of supernatural evil. We've got a commercial. Let's watch. So I don't know why that didn't play any sound. I'll figure that out later. But the League of Impossibilists is my cosplay group, and we attend conventions and cons and events. And Doug Aller, a good friend, said, "Hey, you guys need a comic book." And so he is penciling the comic, and I ink it. So those are my black highlights in there. And it's on Patreon at patreon.com/impossibilists. And would love it if you support that. Speaking of support, you see the ticker down below. We take tips. So anything that you want to contribute via PayPal is great. So Happy Accident Studio says he heard it. So I didn't hear the sound on this end, but it did play the sound on that commercial. Excellent. Reese's Puff cereal gets better as you go. At first, it didn't really have much flavor, but now it's like bursting with flavor. Every week, we'll be trying out a different breakfast cereal. So if you have a suggestion for a breakfast cereal, let me know. We'll cover and review your favorite. All right, so where are we? Let's talk comic books. I love comic books. And starting on our probably our next episode, we'll do a review of new comics for that week, the comics that I read that week. This week, I've been so busy, I've not been able to get out to the comic shop yet. So I don't have this week's new comics to review. I will later today. And maybe we'll do supplemental shows here with Back of the Cereal Box to talk about new comics. But I want to talk about an essential graphic novel. This is, and I'm going to talk about essentials every week. Books that I think need to be in every comic fan's collection. And this is one you've probably not heard of. Black Sad. This is the collected stories. I've got the individual hardcovers as well, but this is all of the collected stories in one softcover trade paperback. And Black Sad is a noir detective story set in the mid-20th century in what we call the Diesel era. It's got a very noir Art Deco style. So I would call it Deco Punk. Most people, if you don't know, I'm into the genre they call Diesel Punk. But if I had been in charge of naming it, it would have been Deco Punk. So I am, on my podcast, the Diesel Punk podcast, I'm the voice of Diesel Punk, but I prefer the term Deco Punk. Black Sad. Anthropomorphic animals, and the artwork is maybe the prettiest artwork I've ever seen on any comic series. And I'm looking for a really good page to hold up. It's all painted with watercolors over the inks and pencils, and it is gorgeous. It is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Any one of these frames would be a great like poster print, frame poster print. I love this series. And what makes it punk is the anthropomorphic animals. So Black Sad, this is available at your local comic book shop. The collected edition. It is a $29.99 book, but I mean, what a value! And the story value in this is just phenomenal. Here, I want to hold up one more panel for you. I just flipped past it, and this is Black Sad. I think was originally published in French, So this is the English translation version, and but it's phenomenal. It feels so American, even though it was originally, a French book. I mean, it feels like an American noir movie. What a great image that is. And you might say, hey, I'm not into detective stories or detective comics. Listen, it reads like a movie, and with the anthropomorphic animals, I mean, Blacksad is a panther. Look at that. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite books, favorite characters, and the original books were just phenomenal, and highly recommend it. I think it should be in your essentials collection. All right. Next week we'll do a review of Broken Gargoyles by my friend Bob Sally. He sent me issues 2 and 3. I reviewed issue 1 on the Diesel Punk podcast. We'll do a full review next week. All right. Let's talk about board games. It's Saturday morning. I don't know about you, but my Saturday mornings were always filled with breakfast cereal, cartoons, and games of some kind, either board games or I'm of that age when we were playing the Atari 2600. I picked this up this week. I had been looking for it for ages, and it was unavailable. I couldn't get it anywhere. It was originally a Kickstarter exclusive, but it's not available in stores. It's called Long Live the Queen by Ludi Creations. This is the Diesel Punk edition, and that's my style. That's my jam, right? So I needed to have this for game nights. I finally came across it on Amazon, and listen, it was impossible to get on Amazon for like 2 years. I would see it and I would go to click it and it would be unavailable. I finally got a copy of it. Now, this game, I've not played it yet, so all I can comment on is the components. Is such high quality. The artwork, the components, it's got these great character cards where you're going to play those characters, the recruit, the guard, another recruit, and there's a whole slew of them. You got some dice, and you got some tokens. Now, these are cardboard, but these might be the thickest pieces of cardboard I've ever gotten with a game, a board game, to punch out. These are thick. These might as well be plastic because these are thick. These are sturdy. And, the game is a small game. It's one that you can throw in your bag. And the rules are just 4 pages. Not even that. The actual setup and the rules are 2 pages. And then it has the character abilities. So the individual character abilities. And so it looks like a pretty simple game. I need someone to come over and help play it with me. I know Greg and Crystal and Blake will want to come play it. But if you're out there and if you're in the Gallatin area and you want to come do a game night with us, a back of the cereal box game night with me and the other League of Impossibilists, let me know. Maybe you can join us. And just like Bob Sally sent me copies of Broken Gargoyles, if you have a comic or a game or any kind of product or project that you want me to talk about on the show, you can send it to me and we'll review it. You can just email me at johnpyka@johnpyka.com, and I'll put that up here on the screen for you, and ask if I'm able to review one of your pieces, one of your works, one of your products, and I am happy to do it. There it is. That's my email address. Get in touch with me, and I am happy to do reviews of your product or your project. And yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said about that. All right, time for viewer comments. And as we get into the show and build an audience, we'll have more comments. Right now, Happy Accident Studios has been the only one to comment. Happy Accident Studios. I know you. What's your real name? Go ahead and post it and let me know who I'm talking to. I'm glad you tuned in. Our first viewer. Woo-hoo-hoo! Look, the Diesel Punk podcast, we average, over 500 views, up to, we've had up to 1,000. When I was doing Tales from the Geek on comicspriceguide.com, we would average over 50,000 viewers a week. Comic Extravaganza, right about the same. Roll and Go Game Review Show with D. Barty, we average 20,000 to 70,000 views per video. So I'm hoping we can build the same kind of audience here. And one of the things that I want to do is get more in depth with some of these things. We'll do a playthrough and a full review of Long Live the Queen on the tabletop. That'll be one of our supplemental videos. And we're not doing Patreon right now. A lot of shows like this are doing Patreon, but we're just doing tips on Johnny Delarocca at yahoo.com. Oh, Sarita! You want to come on the air, Sarita? I told you I was going to post the link right here. If you want to come on the air and join me right now, you can join me by going to this website, and you don't have to download any software. You just have to have a webcam and a microphone. I'm using the built-in microphone. No, I'm actually using my Yeti Blue microphone. But you can use the built-in microphone with your device. I'd love for you to come on, Sarita. Sarita says, Harry sent me. You'll know what I mean. Yes, I do. Sarita is my friend from the UK who, like me, is a big Harry Anderson fan. And Harry Anderson, really what shaped my career was I say Avengers comic books and Star Wars movies, but there was another piece, and that was the live performance piece. And in I think it was 84, I saw Hello Sucker on Showtime. And seeing Harry Anderson perform, it was like a religious experience. And quoting him, I saw my future cut out for me like a well-tailored suit. And he became very informative of my magical style, my magic career. I grew up in a house with Teamster tough guys. My dad was a Teamster rabble-rouser, and we had friends who, were, guys like Mickey the Fish and No Neck Manelli. And, My dad was a con man. He was a street hustler. And so Harry Anderson's style really spoke to me. And I started out on stage as a Harry Anderson impersonator. I'll need to find some of those pictures. And I'm wanting to lose 25 more pounds and do a Harry Anderson homage act. I've kind of taken a step back from live performing for a while because Sarita knows this, but the rest of you viewers may not know. I survived a bout of COVID, but it nearly killed me, and it left permanent damage on my lungs. So I'm having a hard time breathing, and I get winded, I get dizzy, and as a result, it's very hard for me right now to be on stage and perform. I don't know how long that's going to take to heal up completely. I don't know how long until, I'll have the endurance again to be on stage. And that's why I started this podcast. It's kind of a mashup of all of my background, all of the stuff that I've done in the past, and all converging here on Back of the Cereal Box. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. So tip the host. I have notes right here that says to say that. Tip the host. So Rita, can you see me? I mean, I got shaved, but can you see me playing Harry Anderson in a live show, an evening with Harry the Hat? Now, I don't have his hair. I actually have all my hair, but I shave it off. And but I got his glasses. And I met Harry on 2 occasions. I'll just share this story. I met Harry on 2 occasions. The first time I met him was in New Orleans on a Monday night at Bennigan's. John Rockabomber, a very well-read, well-known, prolific writer in the world of magic, creator, writer, magicians know him, hosts a Monday night casual meetup of local magicians in New Orleans. And at the time they were meeting at Bennigan's. I don't know if it's still open or not, but I was in New Orleans and I heard about it and I went. Well, one of the guys sitting at the end of the table was Harry Anderson. Now, I knew it was Harry Anderson, but I didn't want to say, "Oh, hey, you're Harry Anderson," because he wasn't acting like Harry would normally act or how I expected him to act. He was very reserved, just kind of hanging back, watching. And finally, I asked him, I said, "Has anyone ever told you you look like Harry Anderson?" He's like, "Who?" I said, "Harry Anderson, the magician. Night Court." He's like, "I've never heard of him." Dude was Harry Anderson. Well, several years later, that must have been like, that would have been like 2001, maybe 1999. Years later, I injured my back, 2005, and I had to take a break from performing live on stage. Took me about two years to rehab and be ready to get back on stage. But during that time, I wrote my book, Theatrical Magic. And I don't have a copy of it over here. Wonder why. I wrote my book, Theatrical Magic. I know I have a copy of it handy. Oh, well. And it came out in 2005, 2006. Then a few years later, like around 2007, 2008, I think it was, when I was getting back on stage and back into the scene, I was at a convention in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Harry Anderson shows up. He wasn't a booked guest. He was just attending. And he was hanging out with Ricky Boone. And I come up to him and I introduced myself again. And I don't think he remembered me from Bennigan's, but he said, "You wrote a book about me." I said, "Well, I wrote a chapter about you in my book." He said, "Yeah, I have it." I'm like blown away. He turns around and he pulls out of his satchel a copy of my book. Not only did he own it, he literally did have it. And he said, "Yeah, this is a great book. I need you to sign it." Harry Anderson, my idol, the guy that like partially formed my performance style, is asking me for my autograph. Do you know how unbelievably cool that was? And look here, joining us all the way from the UK is Sarita. I don't have any sound on you, Sarita. Uh-oh, she just froze up. Hey, can you give me a check one check?
Yeah, sure. Hi, can you hear me?
I don't have any sound. Do you have your microphone turned?
Hi. Let me check.
Check one, check.
Hey, hello.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I can. Hello. Checking.
I got no sound from you. You know, this is one of the wonderful things about broadcasting live.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you hear my story about Harry, though, signing my book?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just retold it. So Sarita's a big Harry Anderson fan. And can you see me, Sarita, doing a Harry Anderson homage act maybe in a year or two? Yeah. Oh, I wish I could hear you. I can't hear you.
How about now?
I wonder what's going on with Sarita's mic.
It did just tell me I was muted, but then I unmuted it again.
Do you see at the bottom where there's a mute button? You don't have that on, do you? On. I just muted your mic and unmuted it. I'm going to do it again. Unmute. Oh, no, I can't unmute because it says you mute on yourself. You've muted your mic.
So weird. How odd.
That's funny. I know, guys, this is compelling video podcasting right here.
Oh my God.
You don't see how to unmute it?
Very weird. All
right, so Sarita just left. She's probably going to try to reconnect. While she's doing that, let me tell you about some upcoming projects where you can see me or be involved with me. Brand new book series coming out. Actually, it's not brand new. It's repackaged and republished. My first novel, Tales from the Flip Side, The Adventures of Big Daddy Cool and Bombshell Kittens, came out in 2015. We have gone to a new publisher, and we are republishing it as Tales of the Decoverse. And Volume 1, Nightreich, is coming out next month in December. My birthday month. Can't wait. And so be on the lookout for that. League of Impossibilists at patreon.com. That is our cosplay group. And if you become a contributor, you get exclusive access to videos, photos, and webcomics. We got you now? No, she jumped off again. All right. So Sarita will be joining us momentarily. So patreon.com/impossibilist. Look, $2 a month gets you access to the webcomic, to photos, videos, and helps us spread the gospel of the Impossibilists. You can catch me at the Diesel Punk Podcast, dieselpunkpodcast.com. That's pretty easy. And I do ghost tours around Nashville with Nightly Spirits. And I'll be doing one tonight and tomorrow night. So come out and get haunted in Nashville. And of course, next Saturday, we will be broadcasting this show live from the Gallatin Comic-Con in Gallatin, Tennessee at the Epic Event Center. Sarita, are
Can you hear
with
me
us?
now?
Still can't hear you.
No.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong with your mic, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because it's telling me it's muted.
It's crazy.
I'm getting a pop-up that says you have muted your mic.
I would never do that.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
No.
All right, but okay, so this is yes, this is no. Have you been watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus? Oh, Sarita, are you a Star Wars fan? Kind of. Let me tell you what. This show will make you a fan. It is so good. Oh, now there's a little you see next to your name there, it's showing your mic icon, it's showing it muted. Yeah. Now it should be working. Check one, check.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
That's so weird. Technology is wonderful when it's across the pond, isn't it? So you're in the UK. Let me guess the city. Are you in London?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any other cities in England. I want to say that maybe Worcester is a city, or Westchester, or Yorkshire.
It is, but not me.
Oh, Yorkshire is a city.
County.
Is it pronounced Yorkshire or Yorkshire?
Neither.
But you're not originally from there. You're originally from the U.S. Yeah, and you are a Gen Xer pop culture maven like me. So did you have an Atari 2600?
Too poor.
No. Oh, okay. So you were maybe into Barbie dolls? No?
No.
Music.
No.
You were a music pop culture. Michael Jackson. You were a big fan of Michael Jackson, weren't you? Just say.
A little bit.
I love Michael Jackson. He's the other person that really informed my performing style. Big Daddy Cool is a combination of Harry Anderson and Michael.
Wow.
And people don't realize it at first, but when they watch me perform on stage after they know that, they're like, yeah, I see it now. I see it. So, and there's a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage thrown in there too. Ooh, yeah. We'll be talking about wrestling on future episodes. Okay, that's a oh, you were an artist. Into comics? No, you're going to write some answers. This will be exciting. Let's watch Sarita write. So, Gillingham, Kent is where you're at now. Huh? Just Gillingham?
Yeah.
Gillingham it's not Gillingham, it's Gillingham. Okay, gotcha. So Rita and I met on Facebook through the Harry Anderson Appreciation Group. And she listened to my podcast about meeting Harry Anderson, and we connected instantly. Too poor for, oh, you were too poor for, listen, when Atari came out, it was like $321. I remember the price point because we got one, and we were the first people in our community, not just my neighborhood, but like the surrounding neighborhoods that had an Atari 2600. And, everyone thought we must be rich as Midas, which is kind of true. My parents were very successful business people. And we were the first ones that, and I'll tell you what, my favorite game on the Atari was Pitfall, but we played Combat, the game that came with it. I mean, we about burned that cartridge up. We played it so much it melted. And I loved, and recently we broke out, the reissue of the Atari that came out either a year or two ago. My son and I broke it out. And I'll tell you what, I can't play modern video games, but my son can't play retro games. Gen Z kids rented to own a 16-bit Nintendo. Really? Where did you rent to own that? I didn't know you could rent to own video game systems. We were also the first people in our neighborhood to have a microwave. The video, okay. So I remember early days of video stores, you could rent VCRs for the weekend or Laserdisc players. We did that one time and we were hooked. And so we were the first people in our neighborhood to have a microwave. We were the first people to have a VCR, and we were the first people to have a home video game console. And that combined with our pool in the backyard. All right, very cool. She's going to be right back. We're going to just take her out of the stream for a minute. So that combined with us having a pool, man, we were the most popular house in the neighborhood. So had a lot of people coming over, a lot. So I've talked about a lot today, a lot of the stuff that I'm into, and this is going to be the format. I'm just going to share stuff that I've encountered or watched or experienced during the week and have an interactive commentary with you guys. So make sure you promote this to your friends and foes and let them know. This is the pilot episode, so I promise you, like every pilot, every series, it's only going to get better. And look at this. Let me see those feathers. Ooh, peacock feather. Look at this arrangement.
Nice.
I spent a lot of money on these. Actually, okay. I took 3 hats into my haberdasher, and I spent over $150 in feathers for those 3 hats. They love me there. This, by the way, is my favorite. It's my signature hat. It is a Bailey crushable felt fedora from New York Hat Company. And yeah, I've got a black one like this too. So you've got an Aussie, what do they call that? Drover style fedora. I wear a very similar style hat, Indiana Jones style. Yours is, wait, I can't see it. Move, scooch it. Yeah. Mine is British handmade wool. Okay, very cool. Yeah. That's an expensive hat. That's like maybe a $300 or $400 hat field. You didn't pay that much for it, is what you're saying. But wool hats, real wool, handmade, or bespoke headwear is very expensive. I mean, I paid $180 for this hat, and it's felt. So I've looked at wool. Now, is it still double digits? Okay. So you got a good deal on it. Yeah. I want an otter fur. Oh, an otter fur wool. It's not wool, it's otter fur. That is, those are the best fedoras. They'll cost you close to $1,000 though. So anyway, this is going to be the format. Guests will be joining us. Hopefully with mics working. Like I said, this is this is the pilot episode, so I promise I'll get better. And otter fur, fishy? Oh, I don't know. It could be. Listen, have you ever seen? Have you? Oh no. Have you ever seen an otter in real life? Those guys are adorable. I want an otter so bad. And what makes the fur so good? And they do beaver fur felt. They do otter fur felt. And what's great about both of them is they wick water away. They're waterproof hats. So they're great for harsh weather environments. But I want a pet otter. I want a little otter. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Otters are great. Everyone needs an otter or a baby goat or a monkey. Better in pairs, probably. I've heard they're really mean. They can be really mean, but probably in pairs. Did you know that otters mate for life?
Aww.
They do. You know what other animals mate for life? Bald eagles.
Oh.
I don't. What else? What? Lobsters? Lobsters don't have feelings. Lobsters are food. All right, guys, we're coming to the end here. I appreciate Sarita being on. This has kind of been fun. You know what we need to do? If this happens again when you're on next time, Sarita, we need to get you a dry erase board. You can hold it up. But we're going to figure out what's going on with your mic next time you're on. And if you are out there watching and you'd like to join me as a co-host or a guest, it's really super simple. All you got to do is send me an email, johnpyka@johnpyka.com. Let me know, and we'll get you hooked up. We'll get you on the show. And we actually have room for up to 10 people at a time. All right, Sarita wrote something else. What do you got?
Oh.
$9.95. For what? Your hat? No. $9.95 for a dry erase board. I've got one. Hey, so I want to, before I go, you guys can continue to leave comments on the video. Score for the show. You want to do a score? Oh, you're giving the show a 9.95 out of 10. Well, I hope to make it to 10. So, guys, that's going to be it for me this morning. And thank you, Sarita, for joining me. Love the hat. Have a great, let's see, you're what, 12 hours difference from me? 6. So it's 8. It's almost 9 a.m. here. So you're in the afternoon. Have you had your afternoon tea already? 3 p.m. So when do you guys do tea time there? I'm learning so much right now. It's a myth. You know what? You've just kind of destroyed my whole worldview, Sarita. All right. Don't forget, tip the host, PayPal, Johnny Della Rocca. That's my nickname on stage. There's a whole story about that. Big Daddy Cool, Johnny Della Rocca. We'll tell that story someday at yahoo.com. And any money you tip me goes to making this show better. I've got studio lighting. I didn't bring it out this morning. I didn't think I really needed it. Sunshine. My office is facing outside. Nice sunshiny day. And but anything we get donated goes towards making this show better. Logos, music, commercials. And if you would like to advertise your product on the show, just contact me, and that'll be great. And I think that's it, Sarita. Do you have one last thing to share? No? All right. That's it. That's how you tip me. And you can see it down below on the ticker. So, Sarita, I'm going to let you sign off. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of the day. And for you guys watching, thank you for tuning in to this pilot episode. I promise it will get better. You can see it exclusively on YouTube. We may reactivate my Facebook page and distribute it that way. But right now, I'm not big on social media these days. So for the time being, find us on YouTube at Big Daddy Cool Shows. We're simulcasting on the League of Impossibilists and the brand new Back of the Cereal Box YouTube channel as well. Well, guys and gals, that is it. Thanks for tuning in. And until the next time, we'll catch you on the flip side. You're welcome.